Stepping up to the couch, it's Brian, who led the league last season in cracked screens. But with his new athletic case, it looks like that won't be the case. Touchdown, Brian!
Michael Jordan is without a doubt one of the greatest players of all time. Whether you think he's the GOAT or not, and no, I don't care who you think the GOAT is, so I don't need your comment, you'd have to acknowledge that he is one of the greatest. And with a legend on Jordan's scale, there comes an insane amount of what-if questions. What if the Rockets traded Ralph Sampson to the Blazers for the second pick and ended up with Jordan and Hakeem? Or what if the Blazers drafted him and they had a duo of Jordan and Clyde Drexler? I'm sure the NBA storyteller would get a kick out of that. The biggest what-if, though, no doubt, is what if Jordan had never retired? What if MJ didn't retire in '93 after the death of his father, / after he was caught gambling by the league, / after he lost his passion for basketball, / well, we really will never know for sure why he retired. And what if he didn't retire in '98 and take a 3-year break in between the Bulls days and the Wizards days? Now, no, this isn't a what if video. Shut off the music. Shut it off. Jesus. What we're going to do in this video is go over where Jordan would rank statistically had he played 4.5 more seasons than he previously did, and where he would rank in total points, total assists, steals, blocks, and rebounds. In 1993, Michael Jordan shocked the world by announcing his retirement.
As Jerry has just informed you to the organization, I even talked to David Stern as of yesterday and even today, and I'm very solid with my decision of not to play the game of basketball. Reasoning being, I've heard a lot of different speculations about my reasons for not playing, but I've always stressed to people that have known me and the media that has followed me that when I lose the sense of motivation and the sense of to prove something as a basketball player, it's time for me to move away from the game of basketball.
Now, why he retired is a whole nother video that's been made by 1,000 other YouTubers, but a video I haven't really seen is a rough estimate of what Jordan's stats would look like if he hadn't made the decision to retire both times. For whatever reason, he made that decision, but what really interests me is the numbers. And like previously stated, we will go over the 98 through 2001 seasons in between the Wizards and Bulls years, and what needs to be taken into consideration is that the 98-99 season was a lockout year, so there were only 50 games played. We're also going to be using more conservative estimates here. Games played and averages will be on the lower side of things for the sake of being as reasonable as possible. Jordan for sure could have randomly decided to average 35 points again in 1994, but we're going to go with trends based off of the most recent seasons that he had played. We're going to scrap the 17 games played by Jordan in 94-95 because the reason he played only 17 games was he was coming back from retirement. We're going to be breaking down everything from assists, steals, blocks, rebounds, and finally points. Also, there are a lot of numbers that I have to say in this video, so bear with me. It might get a little boring there, but it'll be worth it in the end. So those are the ground rules out of the way. Let's get on to assists. Now, for whatever reason, Jordan is known for being selfish and not passing the ball a lot, but contrary to popular belief, Jordan was a solid playmaker. At his peak in 88-89, he averaged 8 assists per game, and he had a lot of seasons with 5 to 6 assists per game. And considering his role within the offense didn't really showcase his playmaking, he wasn't able to show how good of a passer he was. As of right now, he is 44th all-time in assists, but if we looked at the numbers, if he played 75 games in 93-94 and 94-95, averaged 5.4 assists in 93 and 5.3 in 94, he would total 803 assists. If he had played all 50 games in the 98 lockout season and averaged 4 assists, 70 games in 99 averaging 4 assists, and 70 games averaging 3.8 assists in 2000, that's 746 more assists in total. Combined with the other 803 assists, that gives him a career total of 7,092 assists, which moves him from 44th to 16th all time, tied with Tim Hardaway. MJ is one of the best rebounding guards of all time. He ranks 127th all time. But if we adjusted the stats under the same amount of games as previously stated, averaging 6.8 in 93, 6.7 in 94, and 5.8 in 98, 99, and 2000, which all goes along with his averages from the seasons that he did play, this leads to a total of 8,669 rebounds, which places him 57th all time, which doesn't sound that significant, but actually this ranking places Jordan second amongst guards in career rebounds, just behind Jason Kidd. The only stat Jordan ranks higher in than scoring is steals, as he ranks 3rd all-time in steals, but 4th in points. But with adjusted stats, he moves up even higher. As of right now, he has 2,514 career steals. He averaged 2.8 steals in 92-93 and 2.2 in 95-96. So for 93-94, we will give him averages of 2.4 steals, and for 94-95, we will give him 2.2 steals, which totals out at 345 additional steals. He averaged 1.7 steals in 97-98 and 1.4 in 2001-2002, so we'll give him averages of 1.4 for 98 through 2001, and that totals at 621 more steals. Add that to his 2,484 steals when you subtract the 30 from the 94-95 season. That gives you a total of 3,105 career steals, which moves him up to 2nd all-time in steals just behind John Stockton. And for blocks, Jordan is already number 1 amongst guards in blocks. He has 893 career blocks, which is 46 ahead of Dwayne Wade, but with adjusted stats, he has a little over 200 more blocks, placing him 74th all time and puts him as the only guard in the top 100 in blocks. We will finally end with points. MJ is 4th all-time in scoring with 32,292, but most people acknowledge that if Jordan hadn't retired, he would be 1st all-time. In the 92-93 season, he averaged 32.6 points per game, so for 93-94, we're going to give him averages of 30 points over 75 games. Same goes for 94-95, 30 points per game over 75 games, which totals at 4,500 points. In 97-98, Jordan averaged 28.7, and in 2001-2002, he averaged 22.9 points per game, so with that 6-point difference, we're going to go down by 2-point increments for all 3 seasons. 26 points per game in 98-99, 24 in 99-2000, and 22 in 2000-2001. That all totals at 40,855 career points, which makes him 1st all-time in scoring, and it makes him the only player in NBA history with 40,000 points. Now, those are the numbers. Had Jordan not retired both times in his career, he would be number 1 in points with 40,855. He'd be 2nd all-time in steals with 3,123. He'd be the only guard in the top 100 all-time in blocks. He'd be the 2nd highest ranking guard all-time in rebounds, and 15th all-time in assists with 7,092 assists. The biggest impact I feel this has is that it dispels the myth that Jordan isn't an all-around player. With Jordan only playing 14 seasons plus the 17 games of 94-95, which doesn't really count as a full season, he gets lowered on all-time lists. When people look up Jordan on all-time lists, they see him high in points and high up in steals, but if people also knew him as a player that's top 20 in assists, 2nd amongst guards and rebounds, on top of him being the number 1 shot blocker amongst guards, his game would be looked at as a lot more versatile than most people would say it is, because this is one of the biggest arguments in favor of LeBron over MJ. The versatility of LeBron's game is the edge that he has over Michael Jordan. LeBron will retire as more than likely the number 1 scoring player of all time, towards the top in assists and rebounds, up there in steals and blocks. His name will be everywhere on all-time lists, and that gives the impression that he was so much more versatile than Michael Jordan. It's more about longevity more than anything. So those are what Jordan's stats would have looked like had he never retired. So you should take these into consideration when talking about who the GOAT is. Regardless of what side of the debate you're on, obviously Jordan did retire and you can never change that, but it is definitely something to strongly consider. That's the end of this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe for more NBA content like this, and cue the outro.